على مكتبة في كتابين، واحد كبير وواحد صغير على السكملة اللي جنب التخت. في واحد خميل وواحد رفيع، هاتيلي الرفيع اسمه هاملت.
طيب، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أهلا وسهلا بكم الشباب، وإن شاء الله نتمنى الصحة والعافية للجميع، بالأخص طلاب قسم اللغة الإنجليزية، طلاب شكسبير بشكل أخص، طلاب شعبي بشكل أخص. ونسأل الله عز وجل يعني الفترة هذه تعدي على خير ونضل إحنا سلمين.
إن شاء الله جميعا.
We'll do this online lecture on Shakespeare. It's very ironic. We wanted to have this course recorded, videotaped, but we were too busy to do it, and now we have no choice but to do online teaching and learning. Just one important thing about online teaching that you have to take into consideration is the fact that in many ways it can be fun. Also, in many ways it can be uninteresting. All I want you to do is just to consider, imagine yourself in the classroom itself. Imagine that you're being part of a class in the classroom, and we can take it from there. I don't know what else I can say about this. You are already grown ups. You're not year one. You're senior students. So I trust that you will be responsible. Last time we finished the lecture talking about Hamlet's final soliloquy, which came in Act 4, scene 4. It very quickly, it was actually a very short scene, a 2-page scene in which Hamlet came face to face with 20,000 soldiers from Fortinbras' army heading to Poland. We understand that this is part of the arrangements between the newly crowned king of Denmark, King Claudius, whose name was not mentioned in the play, by the way, for some reason. The arrangement says that Fortinbras will stop attacking Denmark, that Fortinbras will not attack Denmark in order to try to restore whatever land his father lost to old Hamlet. And probably we kind of forgot about Fortinbras, and Hamlet is heading to England to be killed. He doesn't know, probably he knows, he feels it. He knows, at least he doesn't trust the king, so he must have guessed that the king is planning something against him. In this soliloquy, we see a new Hamlet. We said Hamlet here is mature. At least he's different. He knows what he wants to do. He knows what's next. He knows that his uncle is the murderer of his father, the man who stained his mother. But also, ironically, instead of stabbing the man, taking revenge, he is heading towards England. Don't forget that Hamlet is not being punished for the crime he committed against
Polonius.
For killing Polonius, exactly, because he's a friend. So remember, Hamlet was against this corruption, against this corrupt regime, but now he is benefiting from this, and that's very interesting because we do this all the time. We are rebellious. We hate nepotism. We hate people taking things that they don't deserve. But when it comes to us, we usually don't hesitate to accept nepotism when it benefits us.
That's like Ophelia's brother.
What exactly? What did he do?
It's like Ophelia's brother when he told her like to do that and not to do that, and she told him like, you asked me and you don't follow like anything.
That's a very interesting connection here, Khalid. Thank you for this. It's true. So probably young people want to do things, but they don't want others to do them. And again, this is individuality, and this is one thing that makes the Shakespeare in general and Hamlet in particular very interesting. It appeals to us. It appeals to the young people. It appeals to the rebels inside all of us. Now we've seen how the opening lines of the soliloquy started with Hamlet saying that, or thinking that how all occasions do inform against me and spare my dull revenge. Dull revenge is in a way or another is a paraphrase for the ghost that appeared, his father's ghost that appeared in his mother's chamber, telling him to wit thy purpose. I want to encourage you to sharpen your purpose of killing,
Revenge.
killing. Now, and Hamlet thinks that if we just sleep and feed, we are beasts. We are animals. But and and again, how he spoke at the end, he concluded the whole speech saying that from this time forth, my thoughts be bloody or be nothing worth. He is determined to kill. He's determined to spill blood. He's determined to
To
commit
take action.
take action. But I want to go back again to lines after lines, probably 44, when Hamlet compared himself to Fortinbras, and this is the most interesting thing here. Hamlet knows he is missing something. He's lacking in in action. He thinks too much, and he says that I think too much, and thinking too much is cowardice, and I know this. We'll
Yeah.
probably discuss this thing, why Hamlet took so much time to take revenge, why Hamlet delayed his revenge. But that's something else. So he's saying here, I have the cause, I have the will, I have the strength, I have the means, and my father was killed, and my mom was stained, and I have done nothing to do to take revenge, to kill the killer of my father, the usurper of the throne. But look at this man. He is going to fight. He is leading an army of 20,000 soldiers.
Yeah.
They're going to die. They're going definitely. There will be because remember when he asked the captain, he said probably the Polish people are not going to defend this because it's an unworthy piece of it's a plot, and the
Little
word
patch of
of the
ground.
captain, yeah, to gain a little patch of ground. And Hamlet himself said that those people, for a fantasy and trick of fame, go to their graves like bids, fight for a plot. He doesn't even say a plot of land or a plot of ground. It's just tiny little thing. He gives us how Hamlet exaggerates most of the time. He says that even if those people die, and many other soldiers, Polish soldiers die, they will not find space to be buried in this small, tiny bit of land. Now, uh, uh, my most significant point is how Hamlet finds himself in Fortinbras. How Hamlet sees what he is lacking in courage and action in Fortinbras, and he compares himself to Fortinbras. He describes Fortinbras as a delicate and a tender man, a delicate and a tender prince, and Hamlet is a prince. So if those people are similar, they are both princes, both delicate and also both tender, because we know Hamlet is delicate and tender. Probably we've seen him being tough and rough to his mother and to Ophelia, but we've seen
Isn't
how
this
cute he
like,
was, how gentle he was. But
isn't
the
this
thing,
ironic, contradicting?
what is
At the
it?
very beginning, when Horatio says about the prince, Fortinbras, he said he's like stupid. He's like a young man who wants just to fight
Yeah,
without, and now he's saying that he is delicate and tender.
exactly. This is the point I'm coming to. I want to compare how Horatio frames this is called. I don't think this is not iron. There's a contradiction here in the way people speak about Fortinbras. Early in the play, with a very negative idea about Fortinbras and his father. His father
By
fought
Horatio.
against what's his name, King Hamlet.
Old Hamlet.
Uh, he was defeated, and old Hamlet managed to take the whatever he managed to take, the land and everything. His son was described, and I'm quoting this. If you look at the slide here, uh,
Unimproved mettle.
he now Sir young Fortinbras of unimproved metal, hot and full. Unimproved metal here, the book says it means he has no experience in war, in fighting, but being hot and being full, in a way, full of what? It's not clear. But hot is like he's a reckless person. He is very adventurous. He doesn't care about what the result is going to
دمه
be.
حامي زي ما بنحكي.
Exactly. So that's hot, and at the same time he's full of hate, full of ignorance, full of bigotry, full of I don't know if there's something here in the text that tells us exactly what he is filled with, but probably filled with revenge. A man filled with action. He's very decisive. He's leading an army. He's actually he and this is if we talk about armies in Europe at that time, many people would be paying strangers and foreigners money to be part of their army. So this is not only uh, Fortinbras, because I think in the next scene we'll see what's his name, King Claudius also having some guards who are not who are not Danes. The guards were, I think, from Sweden or something. We'll come to that probably next time. So Fortinbras is actually leading an army, but this army is being described as what? An army that hasn't been, that is being led by this hot and full person, and they are described as resolutes, but at the same time they are lawless, and they're going for war mainly for diet, for food, and for diet, for some enterprise, for some adventure here. He says here, hath in the skirts of Norway here and there sharked up a list of lawless resolutes for food and diet to some exercise that hath a stomach in it. And saying this is very insulting. Saying this gives us a very bad image, and I think many of you came to this conclusion early in the course. We summarized, we came to the conclusion that Fortinbras must be a bad person. He's a leader, he's a bloodthirsty, reckless young man who just wants revenge, and he doesn't care about people if they die. He has the money and he can pay them. Now, in drama and literature, this is called framing. And framing is like when you have a picture, the picture frames,
Yeah, you criticize. Yeah.
etc. It's when it happens in drama when people present other people to us. So in Hamlet here, even Hamlet himself was presented to us. Old Hamlet was not, we didn't see old Hamlet. He didn't appear on the stage and told us that he is this and that. It was Horatio who told us about him. And we kind of trusted Horatio because Horatio was described as a scholar. And he was brought specifically to speak to the
Hamlet.
ghost because people trust him. So when this man, again, and look at how genius Shakespeare is, how interesting the dynamics here are. Shakespeare made us identify with Horatio, trust his judgment, because he was, remember, he said, no, this can't be a ghost. And then later on, remember, he was like, oh my God, it's a ghost. I
But
believe in
still, he
part, I
says,
do believe.
in part believe it. Yes, he said in
I,
part believe it. And
because
this
he's
is
doubtful. He's not. He's a scientist. He's a scholar. So even like he saw it with his own eyes, but still, and this makes it realistic. So he didn't believe. He didn't change from not believing to believing. He's still, doubtful. And we'll probably come back to this particular point. Why did he say this? So
maybe
we
because
trust
he's the only one wasn't killed.
we don't know yet. Let's assume that we haven't finished the play. We don't know the plot. What's going to happen? So, but we trust him. We take his word for granted to some extent, unless you don't want to. It's up to you. But what I'm saying is that with Horatio framing Fortinbras to us. And now, and we've seen how
Hamlet.
much Hamlet loves Horatio, likes Horatio. Remember, he says, "You are my best friend." I can't find, I don't know what exactly he says. There was a quote. We can go back to it, describing him as his best friend. That like 20,000, not exactly sure what he said. Like, "You're my best friend. I trust you." And because Hamlet trusts this man, we trust Horatio. But here, this creates tension in the whole play. Creates, and when we studied poetry, sometimes you look for binaries, you look for opposites. This creates a major for people. Many will say this is it's a gap in the play. It's a hole. Probably, I don't know, Shakespeare forgot. But I think this is again another strike or stroke of genius from Shakespeare. What is he saying? What is he telling us? We don't know. But we have a great contradiction between Hamlet, the prince, the main character we like, we respect, and Horatio, the other character, not probably main character, but the other person we respect and we like. Is it
Can I
because
say
only
something?
let me just finish this point. I'll give you the
Yeah,
time.
okay.
Is it because Hamlet? Again, I'm assuming that we haven't finished it. It's like we're watching a movie, a TV show, and we don't know what's going to happen next. But is it because Hamlet is only trying to he's seeking his identity. He's in a journey of initiation. When he saw Fortinbras, he identified very quickly with Fortinbras. He saw himself in Fortinbras. He saw the lost Hamlet in Fortinbras. He saw what Hamlet is missing in Fortinbras. And because he saw this, thing in Fortinbras, how he's again leading an army of 20 soldiers going to death fighting. And for Hamlet, he doesn't speak about those people going for just for food, fighting for food. He said something for fame. But Hamlet describes this as fantasy and trick because Hamlet is a pacifist. He doesn't like war, which is also great about Hamlet. We should
Yeah.
like war. So is it only because Hamlet saw himself in Fortinbras and that's why he described him positively. That's why he praised him. That's why he complimented him. That's why he saw him as delicate and tender. How he saw him as a man of action, or is Shakespeare trying to tell us something we're not uh, probably paying attention to here? Okay, I'll stop here, guys. This, of course. If you go back to the soliloquy itself, I'll have a video from YouTube, somebody reciting this. But before that, I want you to ask me questions if you have.
Yeah, I was going to say the same point you said, that maybe Hamlet identify himself with Fortinbras, and maybe because they are both on the same page, and both of them, their uncles, like took the crowns, and they are on the same page, the same position. So he described himself and the other Fortinbras in the same page, delicate and tender. And it doesn't have to say with the way that Fortinbras at the very beginning, Horatio described him that he was unimproved or something.
I thank you again for reminding us that both Hamlet and Fortinbras lost the kingdom to their uncles in different circumstances, but that's also something interesting. So yeah, so there's some kind of identification. And remember, if Hamlet likes somebody, we
So,
usually like this person.
yeah, and we used to think about full, that we don't know what is he is full of Fortinbras in the lines you quote, and I'm thinking of that maybe it's like subversion here. We can read it like Fortinbras full of an improved metal hot, or hot metal. So maybe full is late at the sentence, and it could be read at the very beginning of the sentence.
That's also something. Yeah. Hey, anybody else? Anybody wants to ask a question? You can either speak. I'm not sure why I can't hear other people, other students, but you can type your questions if you can hear me. Who wants to ask questions, guys?
Maybe. Yeah, the video appears on the screen.
Yeah, but before we play the video, I want the people, the students, your friends, to ask questions. Anyone? If you, I can't hear anybody. I can only hear Khalid. I don't know why. Please, if you have a question, type it. If you can hear me, anybody can hear me, type. I have this speech from Hamlet. This actor reciting the last soliloquy, the final soliloquy in the play. Okay, I'll play this. I'll play the video right now.
Little before. All occasions to perform against spur, dull revenge. What is if his chief good and market of his time be but to sleep and feed a beast, no more. Sure, he that made us with such large discourse looking before and after gave us not that capability and godlike reason to thrust in us unused. Now, whether it be bestial oblivion or some craven scruple of thinking precisely on the event, a thought which quartered had but one wisdom and ever three parts coward, I do not know why yet I live to say these things to do. If I have cause and will and strength and means to do it. Examples gross as exhort me. Witness this army of sass and charge, led by a delicate and tender prince, whose spirit with divine ambition makes mouths at the invisible exposing what is mortal and unsure to all that fortune, death, and danger dare, even for an eggshell. Rightly to be great is not to stir without but great argument, but greatly to find quarrel in a straw when honor's at the stake. How stand I then that have a father killed, a mother stained, excitements of my reason and my blood, and all sleep, whilst to my shame I see the imminent death of 20,000 men that for a fantasy and trick of fame go to their graves like beds. Fight for a plot whereon the numbers cannot try the cause, which is not tomb enough and continent to hide the slain. Oh, from this time forth, my thoughts be bloody, or be nothing worth. Anyone live again? Anyone wants to comment on the recitation? Come online, Khalid. Turn on your mic, and I'm not sure if you heard the soliloquy.
Yeah, I did. Can you hear me?
Type. We'll stop now, we'll stop the lecture and we'll continue. We'll schedule another session probably in the coming couple of days, maybe Friday or Saturday. Thank you. يعطيكم العافية وشكرا جزيلا. بارك الله فيكم يا شباب.
الله يعافيك.